going to be business people, more entry level, and how that can affect business. What's the biggest ways you think the blockchain is going to affect business in 22 forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's several ways. Like, I think specifically the blockchain is obviously value when it comes to digital assets and specifically Bitcoin and so forth. But really, the blockchain is just a database when you think about it in that context. And the truth is, and many people within crypto and ancillary businesses would get mad at this, but the reality is you don't need this completely decentralized database for a lot of things. There's a reason why some of the biggest companies in the world, the biggest companies in the world, have these very centralized hierarchy structures, right? Hierarchical structures. And the reason for that is because it works really well, right? If you were Jeff Bezos, you wouldn't have been able to build Amazon in this completely decentralized way where you were storing information in these smaller blocks and decisions were decentralized and so forth. So I think that the blockchain is a really unique technology and can solve a lot of purposes. So I'll give you one example since you asked, and one I think a lot about is ticketing, right? So I had the SeatGeek CEO, Jack Rotzinger, on my podcast a while ago, and I asked him about ticketing, right? And they're obviously one of the larger businesses in sports ticketing and concert ticketing and entertainment ticketing. And what he told me was he thinks that within the next 5 years, more than 80% to 100% of tickets for sporting events will be NFTs. And the reason why he thinks that is because it's just so much easier, right? And if you think about it, again, this is probably not the perfect example because the Masters and Augusta National don't necessarily care about maximizing revenue, but let's use them as an example. They issue these tickets, right? You get them through a lottery so anyone can go buy them. And they're 150, 250, whatever they are. They're a few $100s. And then they sell for thousands of dollars on the secondary market. So you or I, we enter the lottery, we win a ticket for $150 or $250. We post it online in the secondary market. A practice round will go for $1,000. A tournament round maybe would go for $2,000 or $3,000. That's thousands of dollars in additional revenue that they're not capturing. Not only on a ticketing basis, but millions of dollars when you think about the commissions they could earn. It's obviously more trusted and more secure. And again, I don't necessarily know if this needs to be some super decentralized infrastructure that can be set up. You could probably get really, really, really close to the same thing through a centralized database. But again, I think people are going to start to think about this in a much more unique capacity than they have previously.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I could totally see the Lakers, providing a membership where if you hold the NFT, you get special access to X, Y, or Z. And then, it would be a kickback to the Lakers every time a ticket gets sold. And I can't wait for that. It's going to be easier too. I hate buying tickets on the second-hand market now. And when I go to sporting events, it's just such a hassle. You're always wondering if it's real or not. And the authentication of it is such a big asset for ticketing. Is there anything else you could see it really affecting?
I'd have to think about it more, but I think we've already seen it in the collectible space for sure. I think digital collectibles, I go back and forth on this all the time because people, I don't know if they get angry, but they certainly make comments about it that digital collectibles just have no value, right? And I think there's some that do and some that don't. And there's certainly been an overproduction to some degree of there's superstar athletes that have put out NFTs that have sold out in minutes. And then there's superstar athletes that have put them out that have literally still not sold out after a year. And I think it really depends on the projects and the utility and everything around that. But outside of just kind of NFTs in general and the artwork and all of those things, I think digital collectibles, there's something there because if you it's different, right? So my general theory around this is that everything that we've had in kind of the analog world, whether it's stock certificates, bonds, whatever it is, right? There's going to be a digital application of that. So when you think about collectibles, that's just the next variation is you're going to move these things that have historically been physical into the digital world. And if you know anything about humans love collecting shit, whatever it is, right? There's memorabilia, there's tickets, there's whatever. So I think if you give people the ability to do that in the digital world, that's going to be obviously unique. And then we've already seen this kind of happen, right? We've seen this play out in real time now, where Tom Brady starts this company called Autograph. It started a year, maybe 2 years ago now. He's a co-founder in the business. It's already worth over $4 billion reportedly. So you think about kind of the demand, and it's just another offering, right? So Fanatics is getting in this game. DraftKings is getting in this game. There's a bunch of other players that are getting in this game. And really the reason behind it is because there's demand, right? Why do you do anything in business? You need to create the supply for the demand. And I think we're going to continue to see that market expand over time, whether people think it's valuable or not. And I think there's going to be a lot of lessons learned out of that, kind of what is valuable, what's not valuable, what works for consumers and what doesn't. But ultimately, I think that that's probably an asset class that's here to stay.